Right, it's Sunday again, and Ty's back. Yay! Okay, so we had our little fill of 40k, and we've decided to play some more Warhammer, unfortunately. Okay, so before we were talking about doing Tomb Kings versus something, but the unexpected has happened, and the lands of Khemri have been invaded by ogres and orcs. So we're going to have orc versus ogre game. Si's never played ogres before. I've never played orcs. I kind of picked up a lot of cheap orcs off of eBay and got inspired to give the army a go. And as did Si. So there's a few proxies, as you're used to with us. We do like the odd proxy. To be fair though, they are painted proxies, so it's not quite so bad. Okay, so I'm going to run you through the orc army. Right, so first up we've got 5 wolf riders. We've got a goblin rock lobber. We have 20 night goblins with a level 2 night goblin shaman. We have a orc boar chariot. 20 black orcs. 35 boys with my war boss chain dog. He's got a big axe. 40 orc biggins. We've got the BSB in there. He's just an orc boy. An orc boss. I've got level 4 great shaman. Got 40 night goblins, just with shields. Unfortunately, I didn't buy the nets, which are currently quite good, but I'll try those next time. Mangler squig, which may look a little bit like a space wolf riding a wolf, but yeah, that's what Mangler squigs really look like. We've got 2 goblin spear chuckers and 5 spider riders, and that's it. So that's quite a big army. It looks like I outnumber Si by about 4 to 1, but that won't worry him. Okay, so let's see ogres.
Right, ogre deployment here on my left. I have a saber tusk, some expertly proxied Mornfang cavalry, which we've dubbed the wacky races. Now over here we have 6 iron guts. There is actually 2 real iron guts in there, so it's not too bad. Then behind we have a proxied iron blaster and a Noblar scrap launcher. And then in the middle of the army we have a unit of 15 ogre bulls, led by my tyrant and my Grace here, who is playing the part of a firebelly today. Let's hope his dirty rat luck can come over to this army. Then should hopefully assure me victory. Then over here we have 4 Yetis, which are going to be iron blasters today. Sorry, lead belchers today. Then we have a Stonehorn, another saber tusk, and then right out here is another lone saber tusk. I got my +1 for deploying first, and I rolled a 6, so not even Ollie can beat that. So yeah, I get first go. So I will see you in a minute. Right, end of Ogre Kingdom's turn 1. Basically everyone moved up, all the saber tusks marched, and then everyone just did a move, just to bring the line up. Magic phase, nothing happened. Rolled a 7, Ollie got a channel, and then I failed to cast my first spell, so yeah, it was pretty rapid. Then my shooting phase, I got a lovely shot with the Noblar scrap launcher on the Night Goblins over there, wiping out a quarter of their number, which was pretty ace, including 6 killing blows. A bit wasted against goblins, but hey, and caused a panic test. But thankfully he got his re-roll in and passed it. I don't know what leadership they are, but
like 5, I think.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Double 2 was sufficient. But yeah, so the rest of the shooting, which was the lead belchers and the iron blaster, on the Mangler squig, and I chalked up my first ever cannon kill. which was in over a year of playing. So yeah, awesome. But yeah, that was a pretty good turn. I managed to kill some of the enemy without doing myself any damage, so that's a first, I think, for me. So yeah, on to Orcs and Goblins turn 1.
Okay, it's end of Orcs and Goblins turn 1. Looking pretty good. Didn't suffer from any animosity at all, which is good. My Wolf Riders charged his Saber Tusk and sent him packing. Managed to do a wound to him. So he had a leadership test of 3 or less, and unfortunately failed it. The Rock Lobber fired a rock at the Mournfang, but I don't think he did anything. Oh, it misfired, so I couldn't shoot that turn. Chariot just moved up, as did everything else, just kind of staying back a bit. My Spider Riders also charged another Saber Tusk, managed to beat it and caught it, which was nice. The magic phase, I rolled 9 dice after a channel as well. Managed to get off Itchy Nuisance from my Goblin onto these guys, reducing their movement by 3 and their initiative by 3, down to 1. So then I managed to cast Foot of Gork and stomp a couple of ogres, killed one outright and did 2 wounds to another. Then I cast Hand of Gork on my Night Goblin archers, and which moved them just over here and released their fanatics. Unfortunately, they all rolled 4s, or I think one rolled a 3, so they didn't actually reach the Mournfang, which is a bit annoying, but can't be too lucky, I guess. Also in the shooting phase, the Spear Chuckers, one shot at the other Saber Tusk, managed to kill him outright, and the other one shot at the Lead Belchers and killed one of them outright. So it's looking pretty good for the Orcs. Ogres are going to get a stumping. So yeah, well, we'll see what happens at the end of Ogre turn 2.
Okay, end of Ogre's turn 2. Not really too much happened. This Saber Tusk legged it a bit. Mournfang, pretty much all they could do was just back up. These guys have just advanced forward a little. Obviously these guys can't really do anything because of the itchy nuisance on it. In the shooting phase, I killed a couple of Orc big uns and wounded the Rock Lobber. That was about it. So yeah, not so great. Magic phase, well, it is just another write-off with basically my level 2 versus level 4. So yeah, lots of hard-won lessons after only 2 turns, which is pretty bad. But yeah, we'll see what happens in Orcs turn 2.
Okay, it's end of Orcs and Goblins turn 2. Suffered with a little animosity with the big uns. They weren't willing to wait around, and they decided they were going to have their own little war all by themselves. So they attempted to charge the Ogre Balls, but thankfully they failed. But they still moved 4 inches further forward, which is bad news. So it's now put me in charge range of some of these potentially. Everything's just kind of moved as you see it. There was no charges this time. And then in the magic phase, had a pretty good one. Managed to get off a Foot of Gork with a direct hit. Well, bang on hit. And I killed, I'm not sure how many, 5 ogres outright. One of them may have been wounded initially, but definitely at least 4 killed outright. Unfortunately, the Gork got bored and wandered off, so he didn't actually stomp anymore. But I was happy with that. He passed his break test though, but I softened that unit up a little bit. Then I tried to cast Hand of Gork, which I managed to dispel. And then I cast Itchy Nuisance with my Goblin. Managed to reduce their movement by 5, so that's hopefully negated that problem, but we'll see. At least these guys will be going first, should there be any combat, because they're like negative initiative, like -3, I think. I think it just goes down to 1, but so the Fanatic over here just rolled off after that kitty. The other two crashed into each other and killed each other. Also in the movement phase, these fanatics came out. And once again, they all fell short. They needed like 7, I think, and these two rolled 5, this one rolled 4. So that's some pretty horrendous luck, but that's what I get for using Space Balls, really. Okay, the Rock Lobber in the shooting phase fired, got another misfire, so can't shoot this turn again. The Spear Chuckers, I didn't really want to shoot through this unit, so I just took a punt and tried to shoot at these guys, the Stonehorn, but failed to wound it. The Night Goblin shot at the Iron Guts, got a few hits but no wounds. And that was pretty much it. So looking pretty good so far. We'll have to see what Ogres can do next turn. Hopefully this charge is going to make the difference whether you can make that or not. But we'll find out. So that's the end of Orcs and Goblins turn 2.
Okay, this will be the end of Ogre turn 3. Basically, the Mournfang Cavalry, the Iron Guts and the Bulls all charged. The Mournfang, even though they rolled enough, the Goblins scarpered. So it was ended up being a failed charge. However, the Iron Guts and the Bulls both made it into combat. The Bulls took, well, basically lost 2 of their number to the Black Orcs, but I managed to do 5 wounds in return, so it was kind of honours even. Also, the Bulls managed to get an Ogre charge off with impact hits and what was a relatively mediocre close combat phase. I managed to kill 15 Black Orcs. Well, the tally could have been big orcs. Sorry, big uns. Well, the tally could have been even higher if I'd rolled a bit better. But yeah, then obviously them being steadfast, they weren't going anywhere. So yeah, that was all right. I had to back up here, so my Stonehorn wasn't going to get smashed apart by the fanatics. But yeah, it's not too bad. It's still not great, obviously.
Yeah, it looks to me like you're in a pretty strong position at the moment.
It's not bad.
Still got your Mournfang, you get to win the combat. That's huge.
Yeah.
So anyway,
there's plenty of opportunity for kill eaters. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens next turn.
okay, it's the end of Orcs and Goblins turn 3. Let's try and remember what happened. My unit of Orcs with the War Boss charged into the flank of the Ogres, which was pretty sweet. In other charging, I don't think there was any others. Oh, the Chariot charged into the flank of the Iron Guts, and the Wolf Riders felt their animosity and charged into the flank of the Mournfang, which is always a good idea. Then in the magic phase, I tried to cast some spells. I managed to get. I tried to cast Sneaky Stabbing with my Goblin Shaman. Unfortunately, rolled a 1 and on the magic mushrooms, so the spell didn't go off. But what I did manage to get off is Here We Go with my Shaman to give the big uns rerolls to hit, which was nice. The shooting phase, the Spear Chuckers just fired at something. They didn't do any damage though. The Rock Lobber managed to do a wound to the Stonehorn. That was it actually. And then in close combat, the Black Orcs managed to kill the Iron Guts, sent them fleeing. Chariot managed to catch up with them, so got those points. In this close combat, my War Boss challenged his Tyrant, and they had a mighty old scrap. My War Boss is armed with the Battle Axe of the Last Waaaaagh, and he rolled a 6, so he had 10 strength 10 attacks. I think he got like 7 hits, 6 wounds, and then unfortunately side passed 4 ward saves, which has never happened before. So he actually took 2 wounds. Then his tyrant went, well, they went at the same time, and managed to fluff all his attacks. And then fluff wounds. Well, he hit 3 times and failed to wound all of them. But then he did get stomped and managed to do a wound to him. So my war boss has taken a wound, but his tyrant is running away, so I count that as a victory. My big uns tore into the ogres, managed to kill loads of them, and they consequently failed their break test and fled. So I'm chasing after them now. I think they're below 25% now, which is good. So they need like double ones to rally, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's good.
But I think that's a case of points conservation more than anything at the moment. Other than that, it's looking a bit shaky actually. I've still got a huge unit of Mournfang tooled up to the nines to deal with, so I'm a bit scared of them. But this is quite congested over here, so well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, all hangs in the balance. That's the end of Orcs and Goblins turn 3.
Okay, end of Ogre's turn 4. And yeah, the tables are turned in some respects. This lone Saber-tusk, who rallied last turn, he charged the lone Goblin Wolf Rider that was left and has sent it packing. The Mournfang attempted to charge, basically needed a 15-inch charge. I rolled a 14, so it was literally about a quarter of an inch away from impacting into the Black Orcs, but it was, unfortunately, it may well have been an entire 8 foot distance from board edge to board edge for all it mattered, because unfortunately it was a failed charge. It was damn that boar chariot just being in the perfect way. If it had got like maybe another 2 inches of movement, then it would have been out of range, and I could have got in, and that 14 would have easily been enough. And then hopefully there would have been a unit of dead Black Orcs, but it wasn't to be. My Iron Blaster unfortunately misfired, and but it was Noblar being silly and packing too many corpses down the barrel, so he's got to spend a turn cleaning it out. My main unit of balls and stuff, well, they're kind of running for the hills. I think Ollie would probably cry if they didn't run off the board.
I would.
But yeah, I think they're pretty much gone. The Lead Belchers did quite well. They turned around, shot at the Goblin Spider Riders, sent them packing. And then the Stonehorn got a nice charge through onto the big uns and basically smashed them to pieces, and then overran over to there. So he's in quite a nice position to get an attack in should the opportunity arise. But yeah, not a bad turn. Wasn't perfect, not textbook as I would have liked it, but you know, it's pretty good considering the forces I had left. So yeah, it's on to Orcs and Goblins turn 4.
Okay, it's the end of Orc and Goblins turn 4. My war boss and the boys and the Black Orcs all charged into the Mournfang. That was it actually. Oh, the Night Goblins charged into his Lead Belchers, and the Chariot charged into his Iron Blaster. Then in the magic phase, I managed to, obviously my Orc Shaman was running away, so I only had my Night Goblin. But he managed to cast Sneaky Stabbing on these guys. Unfortunately got an irresistible force and blew up 2 Black Orcs, killed himself.
And he poisoned himself with the mushroom.
And he poisoned himself with the mushroom, thus doing himself 2 wounds. So he died, but he did a wound to a Mournfang, I believe. And then that was it for the magic phase. Shooting phase, I managed to put 2 more wounds on the Stonehorn. One of the Goblin Bolt Throwers. This missed the Stonehorn. Then in close combat, the Night Goblins managed to see off the Lead Belchers, and they started running away. and in this combat the Orc War boss went first with his axe, rolled a 5. So he had it was strength 9, 9 attacks at strength 10, with rerolls to hit and wound, and killed 3 Mournfang outright, which was beautiful. Then the rest of the combat went on. We killed quite a few Black Orcs with the breath weapon from the banner, and a few other of his attacks. And I did manage to do a wound to that with what was left. Then he rolled double 1s, so he actually held and conserved the points. So we've decided to end the game. We did the next turn's upkeep just to see what's happened to the fleeing units. My guys flew off the board, as did his big unit. His lead belt just managed to stay on the board, and that was it. So it's the end of the game. We're going to total up points and see who's won. So we'll see you in a minute. Right, so we've totaled up the points, and Sai got 912.
And well, I don't know how you've managed it, or my dodgy calculations, but you will have got 1697. Nice.
So victory to Orcs and Goblins. In the end, he took out both my casters, my big uns, and a fair few other things like little chaff units and that. Yeah, but I mean, the majority of my points were in this unit with the war boss, and of course the unit that flew off the board. So, but then that was equalled out by his unit that flew off the board. So I think that was what made the difference. His biggest unit was worth more than my biggest unit.
Yeah, well, that big unit was nearly 1,000 points.
Yeah, and I think mine was about 600. So, and my 600 point unit, it did pretty well. But I mean, I think really for me, like Itchy Nuisance and Foot of Gork really helped me. Just dominating the magic phase with his paltry level 2. It really helped me. You know, it's probably what gave me the edge in the end, because the Foot of Gork just weakened that unit to the point where they couldn't fight after they'd been through. You know, that the combat they did get involved with, they were so badly beaten up. Even if they had have survived it, they wouldn't have been much good. But and I think you really need a unit that can do multiple combats, which it could have done easily, but because it was getting stomped on by Foot of Gork, then it was just hurting it too much. And that spell is designed to hit Ogre hordes, I believe. It seemed like it anyway. It's like strength 6, D3 multiple wounds. That's perfect for that. But you know, that's just a really good spell. I suppose all the 6 spells are good. This is probably the only 6 spell that I would actually advocate using. It's really, really good. Anyway, so the army seemed quite a lot of fun. I didn't really suffer from animosity that badly. I got a few random charges, like the Goblin Wolf Riders that charged the flank of the Mournfang. That probably wasn't a good idea. And there's no hindrance to him. He just managed to clear a unit out in his turn, which is my turn. So that's quite a big benefit. These guys, they didn't really do a lot, but they're only 35 points each, so I'd happily take them again. The Rock Lobber, I was pretty unlucky with it. I still take it. I just feel safer knowing that I've got something that can sling a big rock at something should I need to. The little chaff units were quite useful. I was either cheaper than most chaff, so can't really complain with those. The big uns, I'm not overly impressed with the big uns because they've only got 1 attack each. I'm starting to see why people would take Savage Orc big uns, just because they've got like a ward save, they've got 3 attacks each, and it's just crazy. So that's probably why Orcs are cheap on eBay. But I'm going to continue to use the Orc big uns just because that's what I've got loads of. So mainly, seriously, the prices on eBay are just crazy. So but it's probably because no one uses them. So I've learned that now. Anyway, the Orc boys didn't really do a lot. The war boss carried them, but that was pretty much what it was for. They're just like his bunker unit, just to kind of give him combat res. Black Orcs were awesome. They kind of suffer from not being in a horde, but I'm not sure I want to put them in a horde. Just I don't know. I like the smaller unit, but probably end up in a horde anyway. Fanatics were. I was just really unlucky with the Fanatics. I'm not going to put that down on anything. That was just bad luck. I just rolled 5 for all of them, I think.
Well, I think the highest roll was 5.
Yeah,
the lowest was 3.
5, 4, and 3. nothing above a 5. So, but they were fun. They were quite a good sort of deterrent for him. I think he was quite scared of them. I think actually this fanatic, the one that survived the game, she did the most damage, but he killed night goblins. So
You did well. I'm quite proud of him.
these night goblins did all right. They managed to kill some lead belchers and survive the game, even with their leadership all 5. So quite happy with them. Boar chariot did all right. Managed to kill some of those guys and actually killed Iron Blaster. Yeah. And so yeah, but the real star of the game for me, the absolute hero, is my war boss, Chain Dog. He managed to kill 3 Mournfang outright. Put 2 wounds on his Tyrant, which he should have killed outright, but so I was cheating and actually took a ward save. Yeah, he just kicked ass. So for what little points he is, I'd definitely take him again, and he looks awesome. So quite enjoy playing Orcs. Probably give them a go next week as well, actually. Just see how they go. I've got a few more models in the post just because I bought a ridiculous amount of Orc stuff off of eBay really cheap. Probably not the most optimal stuff, but it's a lot of fun. So anyway, we shall hand you over to Si and give you his view of the game.
Yeah, I was a bit silly when I came to write my army list. In retrospect, I should have taken a level 4, but I was a bit excited by the prospect of actual useful combat characters instead of the normal crap that my Skaven have been. So yeah, I think probably the next army list will be a slightly better magic phase, I should imagine. Yeah, I'm going to read the books further, really understand where they're at. I really like what the Mournfang potentially can do. I mean, even one Mournfang with the Dragonhide banner killed 5 Black Orcs. So if I'd got that charge off when I needed it, it would have been bye bye Black Orcs.
Yeah, I think if you'd managed to get that charge off, that would have destroyed them. There was only like sort of 14 of them. You would have easily taken those out.
Because if I killed the Black Orcs, then I was looking at. I would have had to have killed that unit in order to win, basically, because that's got to be where the Black Orcs are probably 200 points, something like that, and
yeah, I think more than that, more like 300.
Oh right, okay.
Hang on, I think it's 280 for 20 of them.
Yeah, and all the boys and the general there was probably like next to the rest of the army. So to win, I needed to kill those 2 units. I think 4 Mournfang and the Stonehorn charging together probably would have been just about enough, I reckon. I mean, although the general's axe would have been pretty hideous. I mean, so long as I'd managed to do enough wounds to outdo the wounds that the general was inevitably going to get, then yeah, I'd probably I would have taken him out, I reckon. Bit of a shame, but it shows the Stonehorn. I really like that guy. He excellent, 250 points. The damage he can hand out.
And the damage he can take as well.
Yeah, I mean
he's one of the few monsters that can survive multiple cannonball hits.
Yeah, definitely. It takes a minimum of 2 cannonballs to kill him, doesn't it?
Which is awesome.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, anything that's going to do that is. I mean, I know he's pretty. Even I could probably hit him with a cannonball, but
it's probably one of the most viable monsters in my opinion.
Sort of that and the help it.
Yeah, the help it, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm probably gonna take him.
Plus, he looks awesome. So.
Yeah. It's a pretty good paint job on there as it is. Model needs cleaning up a bit, as the last guy did some very funny things with the base, like a large lump of green stuff under his foot. Which God only knows why, but I'll soon sort that. But yeah, they were good fun to play. The Ogres, really good fun. Even though my army composition sucked. They performed admirably. I mean, if that had been Skaven, I mean, it just wouldn't have been sensible. But bad army choices with Skaven, and that's kind of the end of the game. Orcs are pretty damn hard hitters. It's a lot like playing Warriors of Chaos in that respect. Although
millions more.
Yeah, they're not quite as good, but there's a lot more of them, and they like to run away.
When you get the buffs on them, they're just awesome. You know, when you get rerolling to hit and wound, just amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty hideous. But like I say, if I get a better magic phase next time around, then I'm going to have some buffed up stuff as well. So the Hellheart and the Grutskill, things like that. That's what I need. So yes, good game. And I think next week Ogres will be making another return. So yeah, it's good. Might be probably going to still be a few more proxies. By next week I should have a couple of real Mornfang and several more Ogres. So it shouldn't be too bad off. But yeah. We'll wait till next week then to find out who I get to play. Whether I'll be playing Orcs again or one of Ollie's many armies that he has in his bedroom. Was it Vampire Counts, Tomb Kings, Warriors of Chaos, Orcs and Goblins?
Potentially Bretonians.
Oh yes, potentially Bretonians. Yeah.
So maybe give those a go. We'll have to see.
Yeah, man.
But
what will we feel like?
There's one thing's for sure: there will be proxies and there won't be painted.
Yeah. One day they will be. One day. Right. Well, we will see you next week then.
See you next week.